Verse 18 from Surah Al-Ma'idah refers to a claim that some of the Jews and the Christians during the time of the Prophet used to make. And this is a claim of them being a chosen people of God. And you might wonder, what is the consequence of being a chosen people of God? And this is what the verses of the Quran talk about. The claim that some of the Jews and the Christians at that time used to have is that because we are the chosen people of God, that naturally means that whatever wrong things we do, God is not really going to punish us for those sins. God is not really going to hold us accountable for those. At most, as the verses of the Quran tell us, it'll be a slap on the wrist, a little punishment on the Day of Judgment, and then we will enter into heaven. So verse 18 says this, وَقَالَتِ الْيَهُودُ وَالنَّصَارَى نَحْنُ أَبْنَاءُ اللَّهِ وَأَحِبَّاؤُهُ. We are the children of God, we are the chosen people of God, we're the favorites of God. And the Quran says, قُلْ فَلِمَ يُعَذِّبَكُمْ بِذُنُوبِكُمْ. Then why is it that God is going to hold you accountable to their sins? And this is something that the Quran went against very, very harshly. This idea that you're part of some club or some small little group, and because of that, you get to do whatever you like to do. And that even if there is going to be a punishment, it's so minimal, it's essentially negligible, and you can do what you want to do, and at the end of the day, a little warning, a little slap on the wrist, and the rest is going to be taken care of. So the Quran went against this and said, listen, if you end up being a person who commits sins, ends up turning away from the truth, you're going to be held accountable for it. The reason why I highlight this verse is because sometimes within our own faith and within our own school of thought, sometimes you'll hear people speak of this idea that because you believe in the Prophet, because you love the Ahlul Bayt, that then you have a green light to do as you wish. And sometimes this has even made it into some of the poetry that we have, for example, where people will say, because you love the Ahlul Bayt, then you get to do as you want, or that the love of the Ahlul Bayt is something that when you have it, nothing else can become a serious problem. When you go to the Quran makes it very clear. At the end of the day, if you do wrong things and you don't repent from them, that you will be held accountable for them. And the Ahlul Bayt themselves made this clear as well, that if someone gives himself a green light to do as he wishes, their shafa'ah, their intercession, right, the intercession, at least of the Prophet that both schools of thought believe in, it's not going to apply for them. And so you find narrations of the Ahlul Bayt, and the verses of the Quran speak about this, that they will not do shafa'ah for a person who is fasiq, meaning a person who openly gives himself the green light to commit sins as he wishes. So when you hear these types of sentiments, right, or even ahadith, sometimes we might hear them, these are ahadith that go against the verses of the Quran, and hence the Ahlul Bayt themselves have taught us to set aside these ahadith and to not accept these hadiths. A hadith that gives me a green light to do as I wish, that because I love the Ahlul Bayt, all of my sins will be taken care of, this is not something that we believe in. Yes, for those who try to stay away from sin, we do believe that the love of the Ahlul Bayt can potentially be a means of intercession for them and save them. But the idea of just being a chosen people of God, like the Jews and Christians at that time were claiming, and then to claim that there's no accountability, this doesn't mesh with any verses of the Quran.